Another thing I believe in at the moment is that I think that Google will connect the Gmail iOS app with Google Drive iOS app and Google Plus app and the Chrome app. And connecting, I mean, for example, in Google Plus, when you click on a link, you can choose Open in Safari. Why not have an option for Open in Chrome? There is no reason at all. It's fully possible for Google to add that to Google Plus app, for example. Open in Chrome. Why not? And the same with the Gmail. The Gmail app. Why not have options for adding attachments to Google Drive? And why not have open links in Chrome? And so on. And the same with the Google Drive app. Why not send a file to the Gmail app from Google Drive? For example, if you have an image in Google Drive that you will send to somebody, then the option send to Gmail. I think this is brilliant because then Google can bring on their kind of Chrome OS on iOS instead. If they combine and connect all their iOS apps with each other, with options and features to combine these apps into one. I would really like to have an option in Google Plus, for example, Open in Chrome. And of course I would like to have, instead of the really bad internal web browser in the Gmail app, of course I would like to have the option to open in Chrome. It would be really great. I think that's something Google are working on. Google often doesn't work so fast, so maybe it will take some time, but I think they will upgrade these apps to have a connection with each other. Now they see how many has installed Chrome, and they know how many has installed Gmail, and so on. They can see that in the stats, and when enough users uses these apps, then I think we will see an update of it with a connection to each other. If I were Google, I would do it. Definitely. Because it's really great to have that connection. So if Google doesn't do that, they miss a great opportunity to have a lot better user experience on iOS. If they connect these apps to each other, we will have a lot better user experience. I'm sure of that, and I know what I'm talking about because I use my iOS devices as productive devices, and I work with them a lot and uses them extremely much compared to other. So if Google doing these connections, I'm sure the user experience will be better. I've been starting to like Google more and more, and by that I mean with what they are doing with Chrome and web apps or Chrome apps. And if they can have them sync with mobile native apps some way or another in a very user-friendly way, then I think they are onto something here. Because with a new Chrome for iOS, for example, it syncs tabs, history, bookmarks, everything between my iPhone and my MacBook Air. And yeah, I know Safari is doing the same thing. It syncs everything. And in iOS 6, it will even sync all the tabs exactly as Chrome. So I know that. But if Google are starting to doing all these Chrome web apps that you can run on your desktop, even offline, creating stuff, and it syncs again when you are online, and I can use that content on my mobile devices too, then that's a great user experience. And I think that what Google showed us on Google I/O was really interesting, and I'm starting to like Google more and more. They are thinking in the right directions, I think. And all things started when I started using Google Plus a year ago, and fell in love with the service. Google Plus is my favorite place on the web. It's so great. After that, I started to like Google more and more. I'm not saying that I like Android or Android devices. I think there is some devices that looks great. I like the devices that doesn't have any expansion slots, battery, some battery that you can change to another, and so on. I like phones where you have everything in one piece, and there is some Android phones that looks good, so I can't say that the hardware is all bad on Android phones. There is some phones that I could possibly like. The Android operating system is not my cup of tea. I think Jelly Bean looks better than the most other old versions. I don't like that the fragmentation, that old devices don't get updated and so on. So I can't say that Android is what I think Google are doing great here, but the Chrome side of Google is great. And somehow I think Google will integrate more of the services in iOS 2. It looks like that, and apps with like Google Drive, Chrome, Gmail, Google Plus. And as I said this morning, if Google can connect them together to each other, then Google can create a user experience on iOS 2. They can create the Google experience on iOS. They don't need to have their own operating system on iOS devices, because they can make, let's say, Chrome OS on an iPhone or iPad if they integrate all their apps together on the iPhone or iPad. So you can open links in Chrome from Gmail or Google Plus and so on, and save files from Chrome to Google Drive and more. So I think Google are trying to do the Google experience on iOS too, not only on the desktop. For example, the Chrome web browser on Mac, because I have a Mac, I can install all these cool Chrome web apps in the browser, and it looks like Chrome OS. I can have everything I need there: Google Drive, Google everything, Gmail and everything. And I can install TweetDeck web app, one of the greatest apps I have ever seen, made as a web app. It has real-time direct streaming and so on. Really good. And you can edit a document in Google Docs and save it directly in the browser. And I think the experience you can have in the Chrome web browser is so great, and it gets better and better. I really like the Chrome experience on my Mac. And if they can make that experience even on my iPhone, then I say Google is onto something big here, because then they could have a huge share of the iOS users using their products. It will be their own operating system on our iOS devices. A kind of Chrome OS on iOS devices. And I think that's really exciting and really interesting idea. So hopefully Google has some thoughts about that, because if I were Google, I would do that. I would integrate all these apps into each other. Of course, it depends on how many users that uses their apps. Of course, they have stats on that, and they will not integrate them to each other, connect them with each other, if there isn't enough of users. And that's why I think it will take some time before Google will do this. And I think we will see even more Google apps for iOS. Google Maps will be one. I am sure that Google already are working on a Google Maps app. That will be really great for iOS. And then there will be even one more app to the new Google operating system on our iOS devices. I think that's a brilliant idea, so hopefully Google listen to me, because I think that's a great way doing it, the Google experience on iOS devices. And as you know, I have said that Safari is the best browser on Mac, and it still actually is, but you can still use Chrome as another experience, the Google experience. I've done that the whole weekend. I have used Chrome instead of Safari, and installed a couple of web apps that I use. I use it like the Google experience, Chrome OS, everything in the browser. I have closed down TweetDeck native app. I have closed down Sparrow email app, native app. And instead of those two, I use Mail as a web app in Chrome and TweetDeck web app in Chrome instead. So I have replaced some native apps with Chrome apps instead. And I've done that all weekend, and has been really great. The experience has been really great. So I must say that the Chrome experience works. It's really exciting to use it. It's almost as I can't wait until I come home and start using it again, because I liked it a lot. And if I can replace many of my native apps with Chrome web apps instead, then I have the total Google experience. Of course, I will never replace Final Cut Pro, for example. It's impossible. Yeah, I know there is some cool and advanced web apps, but I will never use them because they are too slow. So apps like Final Cut Pro will never be replaced. And I know there is photo editing web apps that is really great, but I will not use them instead of the apps I use, the native apps on Mac. But I will never use an Office app, for example. I never do that actually, but when I'm home, I only use Office at work. But if I will need to write a document, of course I will do that in Google Docs now. The Google experience, of course. No question about it. And you know what I mean? There's no need for me to have a native app for my mail because I only use Gmail anyway. So why should I use anything else than Gmail in Chrome? The Chrome web app. I don't need anything else. And I also like the tab syncing between my Chrome desktop web browser and Chrome on my iPhone. And on my iPhone I have actually replaced some native apps too because of Chrome. And that's what I mean. If Google will build in even more integration between the Google apps, then it will be replaced. The Chrome, it will be replaced with the Chrome OS actually on iPhone. I have replaced my Facebook native app because it sucks anyways, but with the Facebook mobile app open in Chrome on my iPhone. And I also have Google Plus notifications as a tab in Chrome on my iPhone. So I don't have to start Google Plus native app every time I get a notification. And I also have YouTube in my Chrome, so I don't have to use the YouTube app, and so on. So if you get what I mean, I run some mobile web apps instead of native apps on my iPhone, exactly as I do on my MacBook Air. So I have the Chrome experience on both my iPhone and my MacBook Air. And I know that Google are making this way because they are planning to do the same for iOS as they do on the desktop. I'm sure of that. They will start integrate their apps together and connect them together so we get an operating system somehow. I'm sure of that. Okay, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye.